It's almost 3 months now since the lockdown began, which means that we at BBC Top Gear India have not really driven or tested any new cars for the last 3 months. Well, but now with the lockdown being eased off and people getting back to work, it is time for us to get back to work as well and do what we enjoy the most, which is driving cars. And what better way to do that than to begin with what is one of India's most popular hot hatches. Now many might wonder as to why am I so excited about driving a car that was launched originally like 10 years ago. But let me tell you one thing, none of the Polo's competitors have been able to build the kind of legacy that the Polo has for itself in India in the past decade. This is the very car that kick-started Volkswagen's motorsport journey in India. This is the very car that has enjoyed some serious popularity with rallying enthusiasts through the Indian National Rally Championship. And even if you were to leave that motorsport pedigree aside, the Polo GT TSI has really been the choice of enthusiasts for the longest time. And now for the BS6 era, this car gets a change of heart and is now using a smaller 1-litre TSI engine. Of course, you might wonder again that, it's a smaller engine. What's so exciting? Well, the fact is that firstly, it offers about 4 bhp more at 108 bhp, which is definitely higher than the 104 bhp that the older car offered. But more importantly, you can now have this car with a 6-speed manual gearbox. And that's something that all of us like, don't we?
The updated Polo looks identical to the BS4 version, but admittedly, this design has a timeless charm and the Polo looks nice even today. The lights at both ends look a little dated though, and I would have preferred full LED headlights and some new elements in the tail lamp cluster. At the same time though, I have to mention that the Polo GTI inspired grille looks nice, while the side skirtings and Fox diffuser at the rear add a hint of sportiness. Overall, the Polo has not really changed visually, but apart from a few minor things, I would not really change the car's looks as it looks properly sporty even today. The story inside is not very different, and if you have been driving a Polo, you'll find it all too familiar. The feeling of solidness the cabin offers is likable, and so is the high quality of plastics all around. I also like the flat bottom steering wheel, but the instrument cluster could really do with a redesign now as it looks dated, and so could the Polo's air conditioning vents. The 6.5-inch touchscreen is not the largest in class, but touch sensitivity is excellent and the resolution is crisp, which is what matters more, to be honest. Apple CarPlay is available as well, and that is certainly a boon in today's day and age. The TSI edition does not get a reverse camera, but you do have rear parking sensors. The second row is not the most spacious as we've always known, but the Polo seats have always been very comfortable and they do offer good support.
So come to think of it, at 1 litre this engine's displacement is pretty much the same as a can of fruit juice that you would open at home for breakfast. But then it's the turbocharging that makes all the difference. And of course, Volkswagen's TSI technology has given us some of the best turbocharged petrol engines, and this one, despite being the smallest in the family, lives up to a lot of expectations.
At idle, the 1-litre TSI has the inherent thrum associated with 3-watt motors, but give the throttle a blip and it feels smooth and sounds nice, although a little muted. Get going and you're instantly wanting to accelerate hard, and doing that did not make me feel like there's a downsized engine under the hood. Of course, the 1-litre TSI offers 4 bhp more, along with an identical 175 Nm, so you actually get more power now. The engine is best enjoyed when hammered hard, and once you put pedal to metal, the 1-litre TSI is happy to chuck any notions you might have about its abilities right out of the window.
This engine is quick to build revs, the power delivery is punchy, especially when it comes to the mid-range and as you go towards the top of the rev range as well. That said, I would have liked some more punch at the bottom end, but then that's probably just me nitpicking because this engine is meant to rev and rev hard. Of course, I would like to mention here that some of the more discerning 1.2 TSI owners might just feel that the refinement levels here are slightly lower than their engine, but then that of course is a trade-off when you drop one cylinder.
Like I mentioned, bottom end grunt is not as strong as the naturally aspirated engine, but building revs is highly addictive given the 1-litre TSI's quick revving nature. There's no ESP, which means the front tires will chirp a bit, but this never gets in the way of you having fun around corners. The engine is smooth and its responses are strong almost all the way to the red line, and it's amazing how much performance a 1-litre 3-pot motor can offer.
But what has not changed about the Polo, and I'm glad it hasn't, is the fine balance that this car offers between ride and handling. The suspension setup is on the firmer side, but despite that, its bump absorption abilities are impressive, and that translates to a good ride quality. But more importantly, it's the amount of confidence that the suspension offers is what makes this car so likable, because it keeps the car planted irrespective of whether you're going fast around a corner or barreling down an open highway. And then there's the feedback and the precise feel from the steering wheel, which again inspires so much confidence when driving enthusiastically. And honestly, I think these are some of the virtues that have really helped make the Polo a proper driver's car. So the Volkswagen Polo still has a lot going for it, and I'm saying that despite the fact that this is one of the oldest cars in its segment. It's not as spacious as some of its competitors, and it does not get some of the features that the competition offers. But get into the driver's seat, and that's when you really appreciate the Volkswagen Polo. Now the smaller engine has traded off one cylinder as well, so there's a trade-off in terms of the refinement, but ever so slightly, and that doesn't really take away the fact that this is a fun car to drive. The engine has a lot of grunt, which makes it fun. And of course, bringing it to one of my favorite driving roads this morning and giving the 6-speed manual gearbox a thorough workout has really made it so much nicer. And this, I think, has been a good way for me to end this so-called 3-month abstinence from driving.